Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
And hello, everybody. We are now live here with the grand finals for the Summer Rumble, or should I say the OUC Summer Rumble, Division 3 to be exact. We have two teams. On the left, we have the Edith, Cowan, Backdoor Boys. Interesting club name. And then we've also got Silver Scrapes. And I'm also joined here with my play-by-play caster here today, Ethos. Ethos, I hand the reins over to you for this initial champion select.
And talking about champion select, we have seen 480 carries taken away already. So this is, I'd say, pretty big. So it either says that these two teams rely so heavily on their 80 carries to do their damage and to carry themselves as a team compositionally, or they simply fear 80 carries in 8.4, which is the patch we're currently on. So we've got, Varus, we've got Jinx, Caitlyn, Tristana. I'm a little surprised to see Cogmore not taken away, simply because I'd say of all 80 carries, he's top tier alongside Varus with that Winsu's build.
He is, but he's not played quite frequently at the moment. Like 8.4, he has made a disappearing act. I've probably not seen him not once really. But as well, speaking of ADCs in this current meta, look at the bans. We have 3 ADCs on the right side here. We've got 2 hardcores. We've got Tristana and Varus.
Ooh.
Very powerful picks. And then on the left side, we've got Jinx and Caitlyn. And coming into the first set of champions, we have the first ADCs picked off here.
Okay, so 80 carries first picked for both teams. Not a huge surprise considering the fact that there's a lot of 80 carries banned thrown. You cannot wait to the second rotation purely because you'll get banned out. So seeing the Vayne picked up for the Edith University group on the left side. So going to be an interesting matchup, especially because against a Misfortune Leona, that just sounds painful more than anything else.
You know, it's just as painful having a Misfortune with the Leona support happening here for Silver Scrapes. Just look at that lethal combo to start with. It looks like they've gone with the bottom lane combo to start at the moment. Like, you've got both ADCs and both supports picked. It looks like they're trying to, work around their mid and top picks by the looks of it. Because normally, first picks are usually going to be the pocket/blind picks.
Yeah, I mean, you want to say those last picks for either a little surprise you've got hidden in a lane, or simply to secure a really favorable matchup. And while I'm not a huge fan of the first pick and carry, it makes sense with the bans we're looking at. So we'll have to see. As Braum locked in, so it's going to be a Vayne Braum bot lane against a Leona and a Misfortune. That's explosive. And mid lane is also locked in. Victor has really started rising up recently, I feel.
Yes, and I'm very, very interested into seeing why they've gone with these picks at the moment. Like, I'm curious to see what these team, what is actually going through their minds throughout this champion select, because they've picked both ADCs, both supports, both mid laners. So I assume they're probably looking towards, trying to get that hidden jungle pick or the hidden top pick at the moment. I assume it would be jungle, because in this current meta, junglers do have the hardest time, and if they do get countered, they do handicap their team quite a lot, especially if the enemy jungler is, if your counterpart is the proactive based jungler. And when I say proactive, I mean they're the ones taking control of the map. They're the ones getting to lanes first, getting those kills, clearing out those camps, getting the objectives. And if you're going to pretty much be running there to defend your teammates and not making it on time, well, you're just pretty much going to be having a really tough game, as well as the rest of your team.
Yeah, definitely. So final of the bans. So 3 junglers taken away in the Warwick, the the Shivana as well as the Sejuani, and the Swain taken away. I find Swain a bit more of a simply we don't know what he does more than he's a damage threat. Surely to God, that is just a fake cover. There's no way. I don't see a Twisted Fate fitting in there unless it's some sort of really wacky thing. So there we go, Mundo. So that's up in top lane. So they've got their they're keeping their jungler hidden on the side of Silver Scrapes.
We're coming into these. We've now actually discovered the top lane pick by the looks of it for Luby96. We've got Mundo happening here. Mundo has always been quite the annoying champion to play against, especially when he starts getting his, his build, especially with that Warmog's armor. As soon as that Warmog's armor comes in, it's just pretty much your brain's going to be freaking over-frying with the amount of health he just regenerates straight away. Oh, this is very interesting.
Okay, this is probably a Zoe top, and this is because I don't feel like you can throw a Nivea into Mundo. That just sounds extremely painful to do. So I'm assuming that's got to be Zoe, because it can't be Zoe support, because you wouldn't put Braum anywhere else, surely. So I'm going to say Zoe top.
We're looking at the chat. We have a viewer saying that it might be a placeholding pick at the moment. So it could be interesting. They could be using a placeholding pick for another champion, so that Zoe just might be the placeholding pick at the moment.
We'll have to see. As Karzik locked in for the jungler for Cinderhead there on the side of Edith Cowan's universities. Edith Cowan. So I'm not a huge fan of the Karzik purely because he requires to catch people in isolation. But if you can play him properly, I really hope that's not a placeholder volley there, because my God, I would love it.
That is a very powerful team comp right there. You've got the Mundo, you've got the Volibear, you've got the Leona, and like when it comes to team initiation, you've got Leona with her ulti, followed up by a Volibear charge, Mundo charge, as well as I thought so. It was
there we go.
We're gonna get this completely fixed up. We're gonna have the teams go back into the champion select. For those who are unsure on what placeholding pick is, essentially, I'm not really sure myself how it works, but what happens is we get the champions or everyone back into the champion select scene. We speed through the champion select, same bans, same champion picks, but only one champion is replaced throughout the entire pick, and that's what the placeholding pick is for.
Yeah, that's effectively what it is. I mean, it's because if the account doesn't have the champion that they so desire. That's the primary reason behind it, is that the account doesn't have the champion that they really want to lock in at that time. So they're forced to pick up, for in this case, the Zoe, simply saying, hey, we declared this type of champion, which is not Zoe, but we have to lock in something, otherwise champion select ends early. So it will be a repeat. What I've seen is people just do fake bans because you have to lock in your own champion at this point. So we will see. I'm assuming that's for the top lane. The placeholders for the top lane.
I would assume so too, because it would be very to see Zoe in a top lane at the moment, wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, I've been glancing at the chat, and some people in chat have said Vayne top, and as much as I would love to see that, I highly doubt it is a Vayne top. So what I'm gonna say is that it's, pardon?
You could be right.
I mean, if it's a Vayne top and a top lane player, I hate you. I'm sorry, Beethoven. If you are playing Vayne top, I hate to see. I'm just gonna put my cards on the table now. I hate you because you are the bane of every top lane next to, I'd say, a Teemo at this point in time.
Well, come on. I mean, she is pretty much the bane of every single tank as well. Once she gets fed, it's just like you can build as much armor as you want. You can build as much health as you want. No matter what you try and build up to, Vayne will just always counter it straight away.
I am reading that it is apparently intended as a Vayne top. Now, I don't know how much I can trust into chat, purely because I've done it like twice. I've trusted chat twice before when it comes to champion picks, and I've been wrong in trusting chat both times. So I'm going to have faith in you, Angry Altma, that is indeed, if it is a Vayne top, that's actually a half decent pick into Mundo, because Mundo couldn't do much. Like once Vayne actually gets online.
I will agree then. I find it interesting that someone has actually commented, you trust Twitch?
I've done it twice, and Twitch has let me down both times. Third time is the charm, is the way I'm looking at it.
Absolutely. And as we're coming back into these as we're getting our teams back together at the moment, what are your thoughts on that actually? Vayne versus Mundo. What were your thoughts about?
It's split push. I mean, Mundo can't do much against a Vayne, especially if Vayne goes for an executioner's calling quite early on. That's basically as basically a split push to hell and back itself. So they're setting up a sort of, I'd say, a 1-4 or almost a 1-3-1-esque split push, which Mundo's gonna hate. So I'm gonna say, like, the thing is, like, Volibear for the jungle won't even be the biggest solution, because if Vayne is good enough, she should be able to knock back the Volibear and then tumble away from the knock up. So, that just sounds painful. If that is a Vayne top, Loopy and Finia and the side of Super Scrapes is going to have a serious issue to deal with that.
Well, I guess Beethoven will be playing his, playing the symphony, his orchestra, playing the pretty much rams down on Mundo's health bar.
We'll have to find out, because this is all theoretical. Like, it could just be a Vayne AD carry, and the Twitch chat just doesn't like us. So we'll have to find out as we are indeed loading into game.
Hey, if the Twitch chat doesn't like us, it just makes even more better content. As I am literally holding my cup of coffee and raising it to the screen right now. So it's just like...
I'll copy you with my drink as well.
And ladies who are watching.
I'll copy you with my drink as well, boy. Alright, so we are now loading into Champion Select. I highly suspect it'll be the same picks and same bands, and then... Okay, so no, we're just doing troll bands at this point. Okay, just checking.
It looks like they're just pretty much doing the, the rinse and repeat, getting through the tedious stage of, getting into the game at the moment. I believe coming into the finals here, this is a best of, I think it's a first to 3. So the first to 3 wins essentially takes the series, I assume. That's usually what it's like when it comes to the grand finals, or should I say the finals for a single division.
I'll fully confess to not knowing. I haven't done much in terms of Uni Rumble casting, so for me, most finals are best of 5 series, but I don't actually know, unfortunately. I haven't had the pleasure of casting these lovely players. So okay, so it's this is Darius top into Mundo. That's a lot better.
And I'd like to actually just quickly update here. Actually, it's best of 3. I've just been updated by the head administrator that it's a best of 3. So, first person to get 2 wins essentially takes the series as well as the entire division for this year's OUC University Rumble Series.
Chat, I trusted you, and this is what you do to me. It is a Darius top. I trusted you guys. Come on.
This is a good thing. At least you don't have to cry when you see Vayne ramming down Mundo's health bar. So we can see a more interesting top lane battle right there. I mean,
I'm still going to see Vayne destroy Mundo's health. I'm going to see Vayne destroy Volibear's health. So, I mean, I'm still going to see it. I'm just not going to see it for as long as I would be forced to. So, in that matter, it's it's silver linings at this point, I feel.
We'll find out soon enough, eh? So coming into the final band picks here. Oh, this is getting very interesting.
I love Silver Scripts bands.
Absolutely. Just you've got the Bai, Camille, Akali, Ari, Aatrox.
I love in repicks where they try and spell words with their bands. Like that's my personal favorite when in this scenario when it is a placeholder pick into a complete refresh. They spell something with the bands. It is the world's greatest thing, I think.
I thought you were going to say world's greatest shape for a second there. That makes much sense. Oh, no, I thought I was going to sneeze for a second there. It's like you got that little feather just tickling your nose, and it's just like, I'm going to fucking sneeze, and then nothing happens. And we are perfectly fine. And I do apologize that I did accidentally swear, but then again, we're adults, so... Yeah, find me, chat. Find me for everything that I do right here.
Here we go. A final look at the team composition. So we're seeing
Cancer.
Wasn't ready for that one.
That is all I see right here. I see Cancer everywhere.
I mean, if we look at it, my biggest issue, and I was looking at it champion-wise. I mean, if you look on the side of Super Scrapes, they've really got only 2 damage threats, and that's in the Victor, who's actually a decent threat, I'd definitely say, but the Misfortune, if we get past this sort of mid-game spike where, because I assume Misfortune's going to be building Lethality, if we get past that pile where, she's got her Yomu's Ghostblade and the Duskblade, assuming she goes to that type of build, like, there's not a lot of damage coming out of side of Silver Scrapes, I feel, with only 2 damage threats.
And comparing it to, what is it? Edith Cowan.
Yeah, Edith
They
Cowan.
don't have a lot of CC. The only major form of CC they have is really Brom's passive. Like, once he gets his ulti up, yes, they've been, knocked up in the air and slowed briefly for a moment. But when it goes straight into a team fight, I can only assume that Mundo, Volibear, as well as Leona are all going to, they're all going to zone down on that Vayne. and no one's going to be able to stop them. That's pretty much just going to be ramming through the front lines. They're just going to walk through it. Just be like, hey, how you doing? I'm just going to go after your vein here. Bye-bye.
There is a bit of a saving grace, which is, yes, the Braum has a decent amount of crowd control, and I'd say the Anivia, wow, the Anivia has good zone control with her wall, and with her ultimate as well, being able to take out, 2 huge chunks. So they'd almost force Volibear and Mundo to run through, and that just sounds actually painful,
Well, just having an Anivia and a Vayne on the same team is just painful. Just hearing those two champions in the same sentence, as well as same team. I mean, lately Anivia has been pulling off a lot of skill and has been rewarding quite well for a lot of people. A lot of people who have been starting to main her recently. Her entire kit, once she hits level 6 and she starts accumulating those items, it is almost impossible to take her down. Whether it is to get away from her or to zone in on her, that wall makes the difference in the team, in the in a situational moment.
Yeah, definitely. And like the Glacial Storm, which is Anivia's ultimate, is just a real pain to deal with because like when it goes down, you really want to reposition. But there are times where, for example, if you're a tank, if you're a Volibear or Mundo, you can't really afford to reposition. You need to stay in the front line, you need to continue absorbing damage. And Anivia, I presume, even with the change to the AP items, that she's probably going to go for the Leandri's Torment, which is the percentage health, will just shred down the tanks with her ultimate. So
I
I'm really
feel
interested to see how it goes.
I'm feeling with this, with the current meta changes coming to AP items, or should I say ability power items, Anivia is actually a little bit more viable this time around because she gets the cooldown reduction almost immediately. A lot of Anivia mains go for Tear of the Goddess, leading it up to an Archangel staff, and that has 20% cooldown reduction just to start. And it just it just adds on to even more more worse moments. And since her abilities essentially are slows on their own, Leandri's Torment has just gotten even worse, really. Like, as soon as she gets that Haunting Guise, it's immediately going to be a huge game changer. And then once it's gone into Leandri's Torment, it's just pretty much going to be destructive. Like,
Definitely.
tanks would need a lot of health to be able to counter that, as like that's including Adaptive Helm just to start. Like, that Adaptive Helm will take down by 20% of that periodic damage, but that's still not going to be enough when she comes into her full kit.
No, definitely not. I mean, if you look at also the options, you look at Volibear and Mundo, 2 fantastic tanks. They're both health regeneration tanks to a degree. Volibear with his passive and Mundo with just Mundo things. And so if we see the Morellonomicon picked up for Anivia, which I would really love to see, I mean, it's really going to prove an issue for Mundo and Volibear because they run in, Mundo pops his ultimate, and suddenly his healing is cut.
Yeah, we have to do a quick sync up.
Changed. So, we have to do a sync up?
Yes, at 10 seconds.
Oh, at 10 seconds. Oh god, I'm like 50 seconds.
Yeah, just bring yourself back to 10 seconds. And we are coming. Oh wait, we have paused over at 45 seconds.
All right, let's resync at 45 if possible.
I'm at 45.
Me too. 3. Oh wait, Eric, lead us in.
All right, easy. And welcome to game number 1. We apologize about that. We've got you know our stream host and our 2 casters at 3 separate locations, so it's not the world's easiest job to sync up. But we are finally there. And Mana Crystal for the Nivea early on is a little bit ballsy, I feel.
I feel the same as well. Like, just coming into the start here, like, what are we seeing? We seem to have a very passive startup on both sides. Human wards at nearly every single entrance to both sides of the jungle.
Indeed, and I just got distracted because I just seen the minion dematerializer on Leona, and I can see why, but maybe it's just me. I'm not a fan of minion dematerializer in general, and especially not on supports. So
it's a common occurrence for a lot of tanky supports because it's like you don't have to try very hard to get those, you know, just out of distance minions. And as well, when it comes into the later portion of the game, you have that slight damage boost on them, and it's always nice to have that extra damage boost. And with supports, you know, you try and get what you can because it's you just start struggling for farm, like, because you know your allies get way too strong, and then just trying to proc off your stats, especially as a tanky support with a relic shield, it just gets a little bit harder because, like, you know, the ADCs could just clear a wave without even trying. One attack, and if they've got a static shiv at 100% crit chance, it's like there's 4 minions gone in that single basic attack. Not to mention as well, like, you know, the attack speed accumulation and all the other factors that just make it impossible for us, you know, a tanky support to get those procs off where he can share the gold.
Indeed, we'll have to see how that works out as laning has commenced, and nothing too much happening early on. We're seeing junglers both now on the top side, so I mean, we're looking at these 2 junglers, looking at the Kha'Zix and the Volibear. Do you expect, you know, sit ahead on this Kha'Zix to try and, you know, invade on Volibear's jungle, or simply try and farm himself up a couple levels? It's actually ouch.
Being in this low level tier, seeing as this is a low level tier, it's a very hit and miss. Like,
Volibear's coming in from the backline. This is going to be a gank up top side, and he has no ward, so Beethoven might be in a little bit of trouble. 2 versus 1, knocked up away from the turret, actually, and the cleavers are now coming in. Kha'Zix is trying to make it, but Beethoven will fall for first blood. That's... I hate to be critical, but that's sloppy. Junglers, they finished their first clear at about 3 minutes. Benny going in now, and it's not able to get it connecting onto the Braum, and none gets locked up.
No, it looked like it was a nice little trade-off between both teams. Both teams kicking off quite comfortably, but at the moment, you know, Night Ninja and Benno have the advantage of, you know, with Benno having that level advantage on both of them at the moment, like having that extra on top of. It could be, you know, a bit of a situation changer. That could be my reasoning. That could be the reasoning behind why they went for an engage. You know, but because it was at the midpoint, it's essentially, you know, both teams will be trading off until one team is overstepped their boundary line and they've gone past the midpoint of their lane, where, you know, they leave their back exposed if they're not careful.
We'll have to see as we go, but it's looking, I'd say, pretty even in bot lane. I mean, CS isn't hugely disparaged, and if Vayne doesn't go, I think, ridiculously far behind purely from laning, especially against something like a Misfortune, and I think, honestly, she's done really, really well for herself. So, Cinderhead looks like he may be wanting to be going into the Victor. Their stun does line up from the Anivia, and Flash coming in. Here's the Slimmers of Healthy. Flash coming in from the dog does himself pick up the kill. So, top lane is dead, and now the mid laner, they get Vengeance. So, MBK is fallen, but he does have teleport to get back in the lane.
And looking at Kha'Zix's rune system build, I assume that with whatever type of hunter he actually has with his rune stones, he's already accumulated 1 stack. So if that's a movement speed stack, he's going to be getting around the map a lot more comfortably, and we could definitely agree to that. And to answer your question, Angry Altma, I don't know how to say
Altma, I don't know.
that name.
I'm gonna assume it's pronounced Altma.
I will assume as well. We'll just call him an Angry.
Let's call him Angry.
Angry. Some people actually do go with 100% crit chance on ADCs. It's quite common in solo queue. You never know what could happen, you know, with games like these. Anything could happen.
It's the weapon you least expect is the one that works. So, I mean, we'll have to find out. Now,
I will
Because-
agree, actually.
It's like you know the AP Lucian. You're like, oh, that's not gonna kill me, and then it solo kills you 3 times in lane when you're playing Syndra, and you're like, what is happening in my lane? So, you know, we'll have to find out. It's just because I question you don't with the love tap that comes out of Misfortune. Press the attack just doesn't seem like the best, you know, keystone to
Build.
runs with
Yeah.
lethality. So we'll have to see as it goes.
It can work.
Had
It
picked
can
up a
work.
serrated Dirk super early on. I feel like he's aiming for fights with this.
I assume so as well. Like, he might be going to try and, you know, give Volibear that just.
Oh, Beethoven's like, no, not again, please. It's happened once before. But he has got level 6 now, so if he goes in now, he does have his dunk available.
That is true. That is definitely true. And if he manages to kill the enemy target with it, he can recharge. So he gets to, you know, go off twice. And with that, Darius.
Oh, MBK trading in the mid lane. Cinderhawk's trying to use that. The Chaos Storm coming out, but doesn't look like it's enough. Oh, lovely wall placement. And actually, the Glacial Storm should be enough. One more auto. Yes, there he goes. Victor falls down a second time this game. Volibear comes in for vengeance, but she has Egg. Maybe going to survive for now. Flaner doing what he can, but I think he might actually nearly die. Kha'Zix jumping in on top and does get out. Teleport now being burnt super late coming in, and Luby and Beethoven. Is this actually going to be a fight? It looks like it. They're trying to force it. Beethoven is so low, and actually he gets taken out by the Mundo.
Looks like that Mundo ulti just proved to be a little bit too much. Oh no, he didn't pop it.
No, he didn't.
He just used it to.
He does hit level 6. Luby was level 5 when he got that kill. Cinderhawk wants revenge for his top laner, but I feel like if Kha'Zix jumps in, he dies.
Well, looking at the amount of health and the fact that he just took on Darius 1v1 and actually destroyed Darius, coming in with that Kha'Zix, it's not really going to make much difference. Kha'Zix's passive isolation is not really active at this point, so, you know, Mundo's going to have even more of an advantage at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the advantage, there is a 10 CS advantage inside the Beethoven. Actually, it looks like I'm engaged. It might just be, yeah, it's going to be a bit of trading. Beethoven has a 10 CS-ish advantage over Mundo, so he's not in actually too bad of a situation. He just needs to just ward up and get his jungler to keep him alive, because he's getting caught out of position quite a bit, like, because of Fliners on this Volibear being super aggro. He just needs to play back a little bit more.
It all depends on Cinderhead. You know, at the moment, he's come to mid lane at least twice, and they've managed to both times. So it's working out quite well for him at the moment.
Definitely, this Victor is having a few issues this game. So we'll have to see how he's going. I believe he has the 2nd tier on the Hextech core, so he's probably upgraded that Chaos Storm purely because that's, well, what you upgrade to for the wave clear, especially against Anivia, who's gonna be using that Glacial Storm to initiate the wave clear game. Wave clear game.
That's a
Hey,
very
wow.
powerful ulti. It's very anything. Wave clear, tackling on champions, or even better yet, just to scare off a champion and run away. Because it's got a very short cooldown. You can just use it again and again and again. And the mana cost initially is very small. It does stack up over time, but if you're a smart Anivia, you barely run out of mana.
Definitely, and we're seeing the dragon. Looks like it's only a cloud dragon, so I won't expect a huge amount of contention, especially considering Silver Scrapes' bot lane has backed. Find it coming up top side once again. I feel at this point it's got to be somewhat personal. I mean, this is the 3rd-ish time he's been topside.
I feel like they have a personal thing for Beethoven at the moment. They must not like this
Flyno.
happening.
I love that Nivea wall, but he's going to be able to get his way out of there. And Rift Herald's not up yet, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Cloud Dragon for a bit of pressure. Sure, it sucks, but it's not the end of the world.
No, I would assume not as well, but I feel like Mundo and Volibear are more or less together to try and get themselves ahead early, because, you know, having 2 tanks ahead as opposed to a mage and an assassin, especially a Kha'Zix, is usually always a better trade-off, because the tanks will just, you know, they'll outlive Kha'Zix's initial burst, they'll be able to outlive Anivia's, you know, combination, and it's just pretty much going to be, you know, a complete fight galore between both teams.
We'll have to see as we go, because obviously when it comes to late game, you know, we look at Darius and we look at Mundo. I mean, Darius is obviously the bigger quote-unquote threat, and Cinderhead looks like he may be coming bot side. Does get caught out by the ward though, so no such luck. Actually, are they gonna try and force this? No, there's no way they can. They're forcing. Yeah, there's no way they can engage on this fight. So forced to back away, but it was a good attempt by Edith to try and catch someone out of position there.
We're having a bit of a passive recovery here at the moment. Both teams are they seem to be trading very evenly. They get their gold accumulation and not take as many risks at the moment. We've got both junglers in the bottom portion of their jungles. We've got Volibear at his Gromp, as well as Kha'Zix over at the stone golems, I believe they are.
Both junglers are bot side. This could into a 3v3. No bullet time out there. So let's play into the bullet time. There we go. Braum is locked up and flashes away with the heal as well. Manages to get himself out of there alive. Kha'Zix now in a bit of trouble, forced to leap away, and Vayne pops that final hour, but is not going to be able to get anything out of it, unfortunately. But good attempt. Skirt Scrape 10 has roamed his way down, so it's a 4 versus 3 if they go to engage. And looks at, oh no, Flying is caught out of position, but the wall is not in the best positions, unfortunately, so he does get himself away. They will manage to disengage, so the passiveness you were talking about, no one died, but they're getting a little bit antsy with that.
Yes, it was a very powerful like the initiation from Benno was very powerful. Night Ninja's bullet time. I liked the combination. It was good, it was clean, it was flawless. Just because Braum had his flash up and Vayne was just too far under her turret, that they managed to survive, the initial the trade-off essentially. And they didn't really it didn't come at a great cost. They still stayed in the lane. And they're going to continue trading off.
And they did not have to burn any of their summons. While you look on the opposite side, Braum was forced to burn his flash, and the heal was forced out of the... Oh, actually, Braum is in a lot of trouble once again. That Unbreakable is up, so he will jump his way out of there. Flash coming out of Mundo topside. I don't know if that flash was necessary, but, I mean, it keeps him alive, so, I mean, I'm all for it.
One thing I'd like to actually point out is Kha'Zix's evolution. His first evolution, he chose to take his Q. You don't see many Kha'Zix junglers actually taking Q as the initial, as the first evolution so much these days, because isolation has taken a greater toll. Whereas, the evolution of camouflage or the jump or the rocket spray is usually more viable, or the utility behind it is much more powerful compared to, the Q isolation, which is empowered, but you need it to be active in order for it to be effective. Otherwise, it's just a useless upgrade.
Yeah, I believe it's the ultimate that is quote-unquote typical for Kha'Zix players to go for their first evolution. So, Cinderhead's obviously decided to say, hey, I want the extra damage from my Q, so he's opted to go for that because he still hasn't completed his jungle item. Now, I think that may be in part because of 8.4, the removal of Tracker's Knives. I know some junglers have been like, well, it's not worth rushing for my, my Blue Smite and my Red Smite because I don't necessarily need it. So we'll have to see how that trade-off goes. Anivia has picked up the Archangel stuff that you were mentioning briefly in Champion Select, but what catches my eye, two things actually catch my eye now. First of all, Darius looks like he's going for a Trinity Force over the standard Black Cleaver, and Miss Fortune looks like she's building towards an Essence Reaver, which leads towards that crit build we were mentioning earlier as well.
Well, seeing as she's gotten press the attack, I can only assume she'd be going for, this critical build. Where you start off with the Essence Reaver, and then you follow into some more, other situational items. Like, it could be like, commonly I've seen a lot of people go for Static Shiv because of the poke/wave clear that it can provide in the early game situation. And seeing as no team, no side has decided to make a play towards a turret or an objective of any case besides the dragon at the moment, it looks like they could be going for the typical early game poke. Getting that Static Shiv, proccing off on a minion, and letting that static charge lead its way all the way up to a champion and just completely poke them, beyond belief, to push them under that turret and keep them from being able to do anything. It's effective, but it also comes down to, how the team plays it.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that crit build does end up making itself worthwhile. Victor has gone back and completed himself his Hex Core to its full completion, and Anivia has picked up the blue buff as well, so while she does have a 20 CS advantage over this Victor, honestly, I expect mid lane to purely now just be the wave clear game at this point. There's nothing... It's going to be a bit boring, just who can shove in harder. Actually, I say that. Anivia may be roaming bot sides, though. Then, no, that's backing away.
Well, hovering over to the gold accumulation between both mid laners, Nivea has a 1000 gold advantage at the moment. That kill and assist as well as 20 CS lead has put him quite ahead. 2 completed items as opposed to Victor with that compulsory center item piece being completed just to upgrade his items. I fear that Victor's going to be, behind just by a little bit more at the moment.
Flyner is once again topside on this Volibear. They've given away a second dragon. Again, it is only a cloud dragon, so it's not, be all end all when it comes to dragons when you've compared to, say, an infernal dragon or a mountain drake. But Flyner just seems to be putting a lot of time up topside, and honestly not for the most, most reward. He's been topside a good number of times now, and Beethoven is only 0-2. He's up in CS compared to his opposite number, so I fear that if they keep putting so much focus up on this top side, that Lobby's just not going to have the same impact, or at least the impact needed to justify, Volibear spending so much time aggressively posturing on this top side.
I'll have to agree there. Going to a gang just sitting there in the bush is a real huge time waster, because you could be better spending that time in another lane somewhere. In this case, he could he could make better use of going after that Anivia, seeing as she is out of position in the middle of that bush, just right before the river. And if he has water walking, he's going to have a lot more movement speed as well as damage towards that Anivia, so that's just going to put him in an even more comfortable position.
There we go. I like this. They're trying to force the turret down, but the issue is you're not going to be able to do that. Oh no, Fleer is caught completely out of position, forced a flash early out of there. They were not prepared for the Anivia to arrive.
No,
I feel like the Edith, they're doing a really, really good job of absorbing the I'd say misused pressure, jungle pressure coming out of Silver Scrapes here. And Silver Scrapes camping top lane like this, you either need to commit to the dive or kill the turret early on. It's been 17 minutes. Flydive has been a lot of time top lane and to no reward right now. Uh-oh. Cinder heads in a lot of trouble. Actually, Flyner, is he able to make me eat my words? Flashing away, and we have jumped down to the bot lane, but it looks like he does get away with his life.
That was a very close trade. That flash was pretty much the lifesaver of him right there. If he didn't have that flash, it would have been lights out for Kazakhs this early in the game.
Oh, Flyner might be getting his lights out as well. The lovely wall coming in, forcing that Volibear passive out, and gets out again without too much cost. They may try and force the Rift Herald out of this, but other than that, honestly, Edith are in a really good position. They've absorbed a lot of jungle pressure. Sure, the Darius score isn't ideal, but I mean, it could be worse.
They're keeping very close quarters, but ultimately, Darius is, considering he's keeping ahead in farm, he's really rewarding himself quite well. He's not feeding Silver Scrapes, as well as the remaining members on his team are still actually, getting ahead quite well. The only person I see ahead on Silver Scrapes is at the moment Miss Fortune. She has that CS advantage, but the rest of the team seems to be lacking it quite a bit.
And speaking of Misfortune, she has gone for this critical strike-based build as the stun lands on Flyner, but will not be enough. So, has got himself the Essence Reaver. Going to go towards a Zeal item. I'm not even going to try and predict which ones, because I have not seen a crit Misfortune in some time. But what I'm going to question is, I questioned the minion dematerialize on Leona at the start of the game as an item that I'm not a fan of. She hasn't used it.
No, she's still on 6 charges.
She's still on 6 stacks. Oh no, Flyner's out of position. He's going to go down. Surely there he goes, executed by the Kazakhs, but Kazakhs will die as well, falling jungler for jungler. Meanwhile, we're looking at the bot lane. The 2 lanes are trading out, but nothing too much coming of it. The 2 mid laners picking up 1 kill apiece.
That was quite a gutsy move from Volibear right there, but holding it up. I feel as though he didn't really look at the situation.
Whoa, Leona going under turret and actually gets knocked up by the glacial. Oh, lovely. Oh my lord, that is shredding them apart. Lovely combo. We saw it before and it's taking them to part now. MBK trading it out with Scrape, but it does look like they're both going to get out alive, but very low on health.
That was very close, actually. Braum had her under turret. She started taking damage, but ultimately that bullet time was just the end, was just the bane of both, their counterparts right there. That was really good of them to get that first turret and give him that slight gold lead. They've already cleared a 2,000 gold lead between their counterpart at the moment, so I'm curious to see how Edith are actually going to make a comeback, in light of the situation.
Rapid Fire Cannon is the Zeal item of choice coming in for Night Ninja on this Misfortune. So, Sindel says, "Get off my damn turret, boy!" Jumps over the wall and Looks like he's just clearing the wave up. Haunting Guys has been picked up for Anivia. So looking towards that health shred to try and kill the Volibear and the Mundo when they actually do run in to try and...
I feel like I could predict. I feel like I'm a fortune teller. I am predicting the future.
you're the LS of OCE.
Exactly.
Is what we're learning.
I predicted that he would go with the Archangel Staff to begin with, and then later on to the Haunting Guys, just because of how well this new meta has changed for mages. Like, the mage system has changed, and it almost feels like a brand new system in terms of item changes.
Ooh, Misfortune's top, actually. Sorry to interrupt, but Beethoven might be in a bit of trouble, but if they commit to the dive, it doesn't look like they're fully committing, but oh no, it's an absolute party, and Beethoven didn't get the invitation. Solar Flare comes in, but he's going to be rejected at the door and taken down.
And I must say, that is a wah, wah, wah. Just need the game over for Darius when he dies, right?
Oh, they're popping Rift Herald as well. There's no need for them to push. No one is coming topside to stop. They can easily get 2 turrets off this push, and with the Banner of Command coming in for Leona as well, an item I do kind of want to talk about, like, the Silver Scrapes have no need to stop pushing. They can take 2, maybe even 3 turrets off that one pick.
This is an interesting turn of events. They have just completely turned this game around. The gold advantage is just increasing. They've unleashed the Rift Herald. They have now taken a total of 3 turrets compared to 0, and they're just comfortably walking back. And looking in their top jungle, they are leaving a nice little present for Edith. They have warded that top portion of the jungle. Every single, corner has been warded, so they're going to know if they're in the top jungle.
Edith managed to pick up the dragon, so their bot lane managed to see, like, actually Ludi might be in a bit of trouble caught into that glacial storm, and he's going to get absolutely shredded, flashes away, but I don't think he's going to wait. Kha'Zix sinks his fangs in and takes the kill, so a bit aggressive.
This is one of those rare moments that evolution Q, the isolation, has actually come in handy.
Definitely, but I just want to talk briefly about the Banner of Command, because there was a change, I believe, in this patch, where the Banner of Command... The siege minion, when that's enhanced by Baron, does significantly more damage, and I believe, if anyone watched, I believe it's the patch notes, I think it's called the DIV, the LCS based, where they go over the patch. A Baroned up cannon minion will kill a turret in 16 seconds on its own.
That is incredibly powerful. Banner of Command, the Baron buff on top of, may as well just sit there and have tea with, Gentleman Cho'Gath. Just watch the minion do all the work for it while you receive that free gold from that turret going down.
Exactly, and Silver Scrapes, if they're able to get... Oh, I love this goal. If they're going for this really early Baron play, there's 3 bot, including the jungle, so there's no actual real contestants. Anivia can try and contest it, but if Silver Scrapes is able to secure themselves as Baron, it's going to be a horrible time for Edith, because they're not going to be able to stop a Baron-based push. I mean, they're taking a lot of damage. They're finally committing to it. It's down to 6k health, but Anivia and Darius are really trying to poke around it. Solar Flare comes out, Benny taking a lot of damage, Beethoven being absolutely shot up, but actually thrown into the Baron pit, but actually need to kill MBK does indeed fall, and this Baron call has gone horribly wrong as the Leona is on her own. If she gets out of this, there is no way. No, she's a dead woman. Goodbye. Braum is here, and Braum takes the kill.
Death hasn't caught up with her just yet. I believe there's a famous quote, "You're already dead. You just haven't."
I believe that's I don't know how to translate. I don't know the correct pronunciation, but the Baron call, I liked the idea, but they were too slow to commit to it, and they weren't able to burst it down. Now, turret is going to fall in the mid lane, maybe even 2. Really good punish from Edith to bully Silver Scrapes for an over-ambitious call.
Looking back to that Baron pit fight, just the Darius being caught in the middle of that bullet time, and Volibear just throwing him overhead into the Baron pit and out of bullet time. I fear that was the mistake that they made. That was the fatal mistake that cost them almost cost them a Baron, but it did give Edith a couple kills, as well as 2 turrets to push in advance as well.
And the gold, which was, I believe, probably 4 to 5k in the lead on the side of Silver Scrapes, is now about even. And wow, Silver Scrapes, they know they need to make this Banner of Command worth it. There is no vision. There is no way they're actually able to sneak this, right? Oh, Kha'Zix is recalled. They've got no idea this is happening.
No, it is completely unwarded. You've got the control ward, but that's for Silver Scrapes. Oh, with that Baron calling out, making its final call, I wonder how Edith are reacting to this discovery right now.
They're looking, it's like, wait a second, What? We looked away for like 20 seconds and it's all okay. Okay. And Edith's now in a lot of trouble. The Banner of Command. I still love the 6 stacks of minion dematerializer.
I'm curious as to what it's really meant for. I want to see what she
it's
it could be
super minions when they're behind. That's it. That's what the plan is. But the Banner of Command, when they use it, did they use it on that? They use it on a melee minion. Okay, I think that's a melee minion banded. But this Baron push is now a serious issue because they haven't got that much in the way of wave clear. Sure, they've got Anivia's Glacial Storm, but Baron minions are really a pain in the ass to kill when you are in Nivea. So if you walk too far forwards, they can simply engage on you. So, I mean, Edith's in a lot of trouble. There it is. The Baron minion is simply... I mean, look at that! It's immune to magic. You literally have to walk up and change his aggro at this point. And it's... Oh, they're in a lot of trouble. Oh, bullet time! Oh my lord! Bullet time hitting everybody! It's absolutely shredding them apart. Double Kill coming in for the Misfortune as well. Darius is in the backline and it looks like he may pick himself up a Misfortune. There we go. Get dunked on, MBK. What are you doing? Why are you walking into a fully stacked Darius? That's another dunk. Double kill coming in for the Darius. That is surely going to be a triple kill as well. Teleport coming in, but that's simply going to feed him a triple kill. A quadra kill surely coming up for Beethoven. Lobby, you are not going to be able to do much on this Mundo, mate. I'm afraid you are as much as a dead man. Surely to God. One more hit. That is a quadra kill for Beethoven's Darius. And what should have been commanding win for Silver Scrapes has completely fallen apart.
I only have one thing to say in this scenario right now, considering there are remaining. That was a powerful trade. That was a powerful push. I thought Silver Scrapes actually had that, but as soon as you saw the 6 stacks on Darius, I think the Trinity Force build is actually working for him right now. But I still have one thing to say throughout that entire thing. Wah, wah, wah.
Can we please get like I wish I had like a trumpet. I wish my trumpet was still any form of good because I would totally play that. But part of the issue was Beethoven got onto the back line, on top of Ninja, and no one moved to try and protect Ninja. And then MBK walked into a fully stacked Darius and was like, oh wait a second, I'm dead. And then Lobby teleported in, and there's not much you can do there. Benny might be in a little trouble here. He's in a 2v1, but Finer is over the wall. Concussive Blows has been fully stacked, but Benny is not dying. Oh, lovely 2-man Glacial Storm. The Chaos Storm coming out as well, and Brom gets killed for trying to be too aggressive. That's... Oh, lordy. This game has been a bit back and forth.
Absolutely, and that was a very powerful trade. Brom showed quite a lot of, tenacity, surviving that fight for so long. And seeing as Vayne now has 50% crit chance with 2 completed items, with that Knight's Vow on him, with that Knight's Vow as well, I feel that if Brom goes in for another trade...
Oh, Beethoven is down. It's a 4v5 because Luby can't come down. There's no Mundo for this fight. MBK might be in a bit of trouble. Darius is still in the front line. He is still not going down, and no one really wants to commit to it. Steric Gauge being backfliner. Oh, no, he's going to go down. Bullet Time is not able to connect onto anyone. Beethoven on the front line. He is a scary Darius, and now Final Hour coming in. Benny is going to go down to the Vayne. One more hit, surely to God. No, 2 more hits. I was wrong. There we go. Leona does end up falling. And that is going to be a free dragon to the side of Edith. That is 4 dragons. And that's not... They're going to get 5... If this continues, they're going to get 5 dragons and then an Elder Dragon. And that is terrifying.
That is a very, very handsome profile. A very colorful profile. I'm seeing a lot of sky blue and a lot of red on the side of Edith at the moment. Just look at those dragon buffs.
Ouch. That was painful on both sides for that. But
That was. I do have to point this out. The gold accumulation between both teams is only 300 gold.
yeah,
This is very interesting considering what has happened so far. There is only 3 kills between both teams. But
oh no, he gets stunned. Locked up on the wall. Victor's going to go down already. Mundo left on his own. He's going to be the sacrificial top laner. No, he actually gets away with a flash. And Ninja trying to do what he can, doing his damnedest. Oh, that wall was beautiful to keep them from running away. Ben, what are you doing? He really wants his flash coming in for Nivea, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Oh, lovely wall, solid flare coming in, and it looks like Nivea will eventually fall. Scrambled eggs for breakfast. That's another kill traded back.
Coming in off the foul on your face was Darius with his combo.
Darius wasn't in the fight.
He was before when he pulled in Victor and claimed that kill. That was very powerful of him. And then he just withdrew and just went somewhere else. I don't know what happened there. I was curious as what's going on.
He went up top lane. He won. He's a top laner. He's got to get his top lane farm, man. I love this Darius. He's got Steric Gauge, Trinity Force, and now a GA. But it looks like there's maybe a flank teleport coming in from the Victor coming in, and honestly, I think they can commit to this fight. They've got about 5 seconds before the Darius rocks up, and if they commit to this, Baron up cannon minion once again. But Darius, Darius is getting into the back line, and this may be a serious issue. The team is finally realizing, wait a second, Beethoven's here. Beethoven is finally got that Sterix Gauge pop, and he doesn't look like he's going to die. Bullet time coming across, and does take out Beethoven. No, he heals himself off his Q. No one dies. Beethoven is low, but honestly, not too bad. Edith should be able to hold this with Anivia arriving soon.
They're doing very well to hold their own. With that Sterix Gauge being popped, he actually managed to survive with a lot more health, up his arsenal.
Oh, baby, why are you that far forwards? The wall takes him out. Oh, this Anivia has been doing work with those walls.
This is exactly why Anivia is a problem. Those walls just make or break in fighting situations. You just can't do anything about it. You either commit to the side of the wall.
Indeed. So
I feel like I'm seeing that isolation coming online. It's making a lot of work with clearing those camps, especially when the large camps are on the solo, like the red and blue buff. He's making quick work of them very quickly, but I still question, why go with Q? Why not go with the camouflage? It makes more efficiency for team fighting situations.
We'll have to see, but the Misfortune finally has those 3 crit items, so finally a little bit online. Beethoven and Loopy trading upside, but I don't know how much is actually. There's quite a few members coming up. I just want to say before this, Luna has used a minion dematerializer stack, and Beethoven looks like he may be getting out a bit of trouble. The Mundo heals himself back up, and Beethoven runs away. Whoa.
After 30 minutes, Leona finally uses her minion.
She's only on 5 stacks now. She's been sitting on 6 stacks for 30 minutes. I would love to know what minion she used it on.
Just the anxiety rises. It's like, when are you gonna use that? It's there for a reason. It's not there for show. Why are you putting it there for show? Why are you making me anxious like this? It's just moments like that where it's just like, please just do something with it. I want it to be gone.
Like, it's holding up an inventory space where there could be control wards, and as someone who plays a half decent amount of support, control wards are actually really, really good just to continually get vision control over a certain location. Baron, for example, and
I'll agree. And the major the major focus of control wards is to be able to clear the map of any wards that the enemy might catch you out on. You don't want
he needs his minion dematerializer, so we've got to remember the minion dematerializer is more important than control wards.
Yes, it's because he wants his entire inventory to look full. He wants to feel full.
Oh, might get caught out a little bit. That's his poke at this point. That hurts, and that's a 3.5 item in Nivea. That hurts a lot.
And it only gets worse because when she combos correctly, that is a crit attack, and magic being a magic-based ability and a magic crit, that just.
So there may be another fight. Glacial Storm doing a lovely job zoning them away. However, they're not able to fully commit. The top laners are finally joining their teams. I feel like we've almost gone for a mini ARAM-esque style now, yeah?
Possibly, yeah.
I mean, everyone's mid. It's a bit of a party. I love it. Window.
It's great when there's a tango. It's great when there's an actual tango happening. So it's better than just watching all 3 lanes, just doing their own farming, having dinner, having lunch, whatever you want to call it, having a picnic in their lane, just feeding off of the minions instead of each other.
We'll have to see, but it looks like Baron is still the major objective for both of these teams. So the next dragon is up in 30-ish seconds, but I honestly expect it's going to be a Baron bait or a Baron secure, and it looks like it might actually be the bait as both teams are posturing up. Lovely Storm to force Silver Scrapes away, and it's a bit of a Baron dance. Now the question is, who goes to the lane and tries to shove it in first? Because that's what all this Baron dance is about. Who has lane priority, who has Baron priority. And right now, Silver Scrapes finally clearing that wave out.
I wish I had a soundboard so I could just play the Mexican tango song, just as they're dancing back and forth in the Baron.
That would be
hurry
amazing.
up and do something. Just hurry up and do something here. Come on, don't dance back and forth. No one's gonna do anything.
Skid Scrape is doing something I don't know how I feel about it. Which is he's building Warmogs on a Nivea. Now he's taking a book out of Froggen's page, a page out of Froggen's book. I'll go into that maybe a bit later. So It looks like Baron is starting up, and Beethoven's doing a good job of trying to peel away the front line, but Silver Scrapes is coming in from two angles. Mundo's from one side, and the rest of the team is from one. They need to figure out what they're doing. Beethoven is sort of being left on his own. Oh, lovely bullet time into the Solar Flare once again. Beethoven is surely going to go down. Dynamic has flashed over the wall, but I don't think this Vayne is getting much done. He's into the back line finally, condemn against the wall, but Darius has got himself a dunk. Darius is online again, and we can see a rinse and repeat. And Beethoven doing what they can. Mundo has been pulled in. MBK is going to get deleted. It is a 2 versus 3. The dunk coming in. A double kill coming in for the Vayne. Oh lord, that
uncontestable Baron with that ace right there. Just da 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 da.
Only the Braum went down as well. That was a really split fight with Ludi coming in from the backside. And then the rest of Silver Scrape sort of tried to follow up and then just got delayed so heavily by Beethoven they couldn't get past him. And then Vayne joined Darius in the backline, able to hold them off long enough. They killed MBK, they killed Flynn. Didn't see what happened to Night Ninja Vox. I assume he went down to the Anivia. I actually didn't see that part of the fight, unfortunately. But Baron is secured. The inhibitor line is broken in middle, and I assume bot side as well. Edith is in a really dominating position.
This is the perfect example of capitalizing on on an ace. That is probably the best definition, or should I say the best way to explain capitalizing on acing the enemy team. You go for the Baron, you go for the inhibitor, you go for what's available before, whoops, my microphone. You go for whatever is available and you try and clear the map before the enemy team comes back online. The minute they're alive, you just need to reset. There is no point really trying to continue contesting because you've already won, you've already taken what you need. Don't give them the opportunity to claim bounty on you. They claim bounty on you, you could put yourself at a little bit more of a risky situation than what you were before.
Definitely, and is 3 Cloud Dragons and 2 Infernal Dragons, and I believe the next dragon coming up is an Elder Drake. So if Edith is able to secure themselves an Elder Dragon, Silver Scrapes is in a whole world of issues with 5 ticks, and Anivia has indeed gone. He's indeed taken the Froggen book and picked up the Warmogs.
Seems to have a quite that. See, just look at that static shift proc right there. This is what I meant earlier. Just a single attack took out 4 minions in a single strike, and that was all That was all critical strike static charges too. That's just a perfect definition of just destructive behavior right there.
Definitely, and the Baron buff is still live, so we're now getting a sort of 1-3-1-esque split push with Darius up in the top lane, and Mundo really can't do a whole lot. He can't trade with the Darius, and he can't out-clear the minions. He has picked himself up a Banner of Command, but I don't really see the point when you're this far behind. You need tanky statistics more than anything else. Everyone else is shoving mid, and Flyny is going onto the bug, but doesn't look like they want to commit to it.
That was quite a shocking fright right there.
Was that a pun?
Yes.
Just wanted to double check. 2 seconds of shocking. Wait a second, the Volley Bear ultimate is a bunch of lightning.
Exactly. I'm glad you clicked on play. I would.
Benny is a lot out of position, and I think he may go down. He tries to start the fight, but instead pays for it with his life. 5v4 in the heart of their own base. I don't think Silver Scrapes has enough to hold this. They're going to start losing everything.
Definitely, and it looks like it's
Whitey, what are you doing?
And
he's on the wrong side of the fight. There we go, trying to get into the front line, but no such luck. Chaos Storm has actually been dropped by MBK, so that is a pretty big team fight ultimate, which is already down.
Yeah, it looks like they're keen to get Christmas early this year.
Indeed. Oh lord, there goes my microphone. I dropped my mic. Looks like
That's
the bottom inhibitor is...
everywhere.
MBK just got utterly destroyed. Oh my lord, lovely flash coming in from the Braum. The Misfortune didn't get a chance to get out of there, and now the rest of the team is going to fall down. There's a double kill coming in for the Anivia, and the wall and the dunk. A triple kill for the bird. That is going to be game 1. Ben revives in time to see his entire base crumble. Your kingdom for a horse. How about your kingdom for your life? Ace coming in, and Silver Scrapes will go down with Edith taking the first game 1-0 in this series.
Such a frosty end to Silver Scrapes right there. They put up a really good fight, but just ultimately, just the 10,000 gold advantage. Not to mention the objective advantages as well that they have. Just 5 dragons as well as a Baron. My God, that is just overkill almost.
And like Silver Scrapes, they came into this game with a game plan. They seemed very dedicated to play around Baron. They seemed very dedicated to play around the Banner of Command push style. And I honestly don't have an issue with that style of gameplay. I think it's quite a good approach to say, this is our plan to win, we're going to stick with it. The issue is they weren't able to get the lead they needed to be able to commit to the strategy. So I think if for game number 2, if they're going to change anything, you don't need 2 battery commands, especially when you're behind, is the first thing I'm going to say to that.
I gotta agree there. It's just absolutely, it's just chaotic, really. And with game 1 out of the way, we will go to a quick little tea break, or should I say, just a quick little break as we get ourselves underway for game number 2 between both teams of Silver Scrapes and Edith Cowan Backdoor Boys.
I love that name.
I know, it's just too much to pronounce.
Yeah, it really is. Alright, let's see if we're... I think we still are live to... And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for game 2 between Silver Scrapes and the Edith Cowan Backdoor Boys. Now, game 1 went in favor of Edith with a bit of a back and forth game, but they still ended up taking themselves the lead. And as we led into game number 2, there was a slight discussion between us casters about if there's going to be a change in bans, and unfortunately it does not look it. We're seeing Caitlyn, Tristan. Are we going to get like 580 carry bans once again, I feel? Oh no, Darius. So it looks like change of bans from the previous system, mostly. So the Darius taken away from the previous game, Beethoven not going to be able to get his hands on that, which isn't a huge surprise. Beethoven was very difficult to control in the previous game. He did get that quadra kill in one fight and was quite instrumental in the Baron fight that did eventually lead to Silver Scrapes being defeated. So we'll have to see 2 80 carry bans taken away on the side of Edith once again, and Nivea taken away. So Silver Scrapes saying, this is what beat us in the previous game. We don't want to deal with that once again.
Yeah, coming in with those target bans right there. I think we're getting the clear message that second, as they did in the first game.
Indeed, we'll have to see Brand taken away. So I would love to see if that's like a Brand support, like a crit style brand support. So, but Ninja,
Misfortune picked once again. I like
Ninja really likes this Misfortune crit. Now, I'm not a huge fan of crit misfortune. I think there are a lot of AD carries that do a crit misfortune's job but better. So okay, Leona locked in instead of Braum from the previous game. Hopefully this Leona doesn't have 5 stacks of minion dematerializer by the end of the game. That's my hope for that.
I have to agree. Like, you know, everyone would just be everyone's, you know, everyone would be saying it feels like it's a waste of a runestone.
It
Like
really
it could be better utilized getting futures markets, or you know, just something a little bit more beneficial. Something a little bit more beneficial to him as well as his team, indirectly in some sense of the word.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But talking about being beneficial to the team, the Warwick has been picked up. Now, we did briefly chat during our break about the junglers. You know what? I'll come back to my jungle point later. Annie has been locked in.
Oh,
Was not prepared to see an Annie for this, but I do quite like it purely because it's a really good champion. It's not that, like, mechanically there isn't a whole lot to Annie, and with a team fight AoE stun, it is a force to be feared.
this is going to be a fun game.
So we're seeing the Xayah has been locked in. So we're seeing both bot lanes. Now, what I do like to see is what gets banned away. So Silver Scrapes, they haven't locked in their top and their mid, while on the side, no, I apologize, they have locked in their mid laner. Silver Scrapes is on our left. So Victor taken away. Unless this is an Annie top or an Annie placeholder, I'm very surprised by that Victor ban.
I'm very surprised as well, but it could be that they don't want to have that Victor in the second game. It would make sense that you know, that they don't want the enemy team to have it again, because it probably was problematic in the first game, and in the second game they just don't want to have that problem. That's usually why you ban those champions, because you just don't want to have to deal with that added stress that comes with that champion being on the enemy team.
Indeed, you'll have to see the Vigar taken away as well, and Fizz. Okay.
It's banned away.
I haven't seen Fizz in quite some time, so I'm quite a bit surprised by that. Unless there's some sort of secret new build with Fizz coming in, or one of these players is like a Fizz. Oh, I didn't see Fizz in the previous ban. I'm gonna have to see how that Fizz. I'm a bit surprised by it. And Nasus, as someone who plays a lot of Nasus, I'm very sad now.
I would like to say I'm very happy. Because no
Aw.
one likes seeing a fed no one likes seeing, you know, a Narcissus in a game, because it's either too fed or they just get stomped all over. It's just pretty much either the dog gets too fed or it gets put down.
Ooh. I really like this though. Beethoven going for, I'm presuming that's going to be Beethoven's Jax, and I personally love Jax as a champion. Oh my lord, we're seeing a lot of things. We're seeing Jax and Zillion. So this isn't any
I feel like
top
this is a
with Zillion mid?
placeholder pick. I feel like this is another placeholding pick for Luby.
I get way too excited.
I do too. It's just interesting to see two majors on one team, especially in this matchup right now. Just if that was an anti-top, that would be interesting. But a Zillion pick, I thought that would be like a support, but then I see the Alistair up top, and I'm like, nope, this is completely different.
Okay, so I'm assuming there is placeholders somewhere in here, because I highly doubt this is the team comp for the side of Silver Scrapes that we're looking at. That is the final position. So I'm not going to say much about Silver Scrapes purely because I don't know exactly what their champions are and who's going where. On the other side, Morgana mid. I actually quite like that.
I like it as well. I like the Jax pick. I like the Warwick pick. Xayah, yes, but I was a little bit saddened. Because there's no Rakan. I wanted to see the Lovers bot lane. Whenever you see Xayah, you gotta go for Rakan. You have to do Lovers bot lane.
Well,
And
unfortunately, no such luck, and that indeed was a placeholder. I presume it was the Zillion.
I
Was
presume,
the
I
placeholder
believe Zillion was also a placeholding pick. But as we get ourselves back into champion select, to get burned through the champion selection phase as we rinse it through, I would just like to, you know, throw this out there to Eric. Eric, can you take us to the loading screen as we get ourselves, you know, set up and finalized, and we'll come back in once we've come into the champion loading screen. Not really sure what's going on, but I assume that if we are still live at the moment, we may as well continue the commentary.
Yeah, we might as well. I mean, it's not the end of the world. So, I'd love to see what's been placeholder for what. So, I'm reading in chat that apparently Annie was a placeholder for Sejuani.
Very interesting to see that. I feel like this placeholding system is a form of cheating.
I don't like it. To my knowledge, the teams are informed. The member for one team messages the other. Okay, so it was an Alawi that was. I'm now lost. I'm not like.
I'm now lost as
placeholding.
well.
I don't like it because it just like maybe I'm not a huge fan of it purely because we're not informed as we go. Like this is the first that I'm hearing about placeholders is when we see it in Champions Select. So I'm not a huge fan of the placeholder system in general. Now I understand why it's a thing, but it just annoys me because not only does it delay us by I think an excessive amount. So apparently that was a misclick. Alawi was not meant to be selected, but hopefully we do get into it. The players have got to reorganize themselves in their correct order. So hopefully this won't be too long. I'm still slightly confused what champions are being picked for which I'm just like a huge fan of the placeholder system in general.
Yeah, I just have to agree. Well, the delays that come with this placeholding, as well as the accidental misclicks and whatnot, it's a little bit it's a little bit tiring for everybody, really. Like the viewers want to see action, they want to see a gameplay, they want to see people knocking skulls, killing each other in a sense, and we don't really have the the mental energy to be able to commentate for a game for such a very long period, especially with these long drawn out periods that we're having right now, or should I say the long drawn out technical difficulties that we're experiencing at the moment with this team selection. And
so we have got
yeah.
confirmation that Annie was meant to be a Sejuani pick. So hopefully we will get through this champion select as quickly as possible and get into game 2 because it is, at least in my time zone, unfortunately, I don't know, because we are in 3 different locations. I don't know if the time zone is different, but for me, it's nearly midnight. So these players, hopefully we can burn through Champion Select because, when we get to playing at this point, some players, I know most gamers are, I use the expression night owl for a lot of us. I mean, we're awake till the, early hours of the morning, but it still comes to the point where you question, why is it taking this long to get through a champion? So hopefully we'll burn through these pick and bans, get into game number 2. We'll see if Silver Scrapes is able to take game 2 and make it a best get to game 3, or if Edith will be able to wrap it up in a clean 2-0.
Absolutely. And as we quickly burn through this quick fix-up, we'll be right back. But when we come back, we'll be going straight into game number 2 between Silver Scrapes and Backdoor Boys.
All right, let's pop them back to 30 seconds. Lovely.
I'm on 30 as well.
I'm on 30. All right, lovely. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 2 between Silver Scrape and Edith. And as we see there, Benno dropping a little bit of the BM on the failed invade.
That was quite the sticky situation, or the technical difficulty we went through, but thank God we finally got through it. So with all those unpleasantries out of the way, we can finally get into this game. And what do we have to start off with here, Eidos?
It looks a lot like we're having human wards with a little bit of poking down the bot side, but I honestly don't expect much to come out of it. So what I do quite like is the dynamic that we're going to see out of the top half of the map. So the mid lane's going to be quite interesting because Morgana has a lot of wave clear if she puts a lot of early points into her W, which is the Tormented Soil. While on the side of MBK, if he double bombs the wave effectively, he will be able to keep.
We're going
the
to a
wave
quick
clear.
little break here. Seems we have a slight little disconnection issue happening at the moment. As usual for Australian community, there is always a reconnection happening somewhere around the place.
Welcome to OCE, ladies and gentlemen. But I want to quickly talk about like 2 or 3 different things, which is we're seeing Night Ninja Fox with running the same mastery on Misfortune, which makes me feel like he's going to go yet again for that crit-based build, which, like I said in game 1, I'm not a huge fan of. I don't think it does as it should. Like, run a different 80 carry for running crit. I'm sorry, but I just don't like Misfortune when you're running a crit. Benno has once again gone for the minion dematerializer, and I just worry that we're going to have a rinse and repeat of last game with Benno having 5 dematerializer stacks still in his inventory at 30 minutes.
And coming back in from this pause in a 3-2-1, coming into the start of the game, both teams are starting off right, very passive. It's just the common startup. But it's also interesting to note that they are going to be mirroring each other's paths unintentionally at the moment. They both don't know where each other are. There are no wards happening on either side of the map. We see a control ward happening at the start, which is interesting. But apart from that, they don't know where each junglers are.
I think that's in part just the worry of making sure there's no early jungle shenanigans, but you can kind of tell where the other jungler starts based on who comes to lane. So for example, they saw Beethoven and Lobby both starting up in the top lane, while both bot lanes were a little bit later to their lane. So you can have a pretty good guess that both junglers started on their bot side. They're going to be clearing their top side, and I just hope that, unlike in the previous game, the top laners are aware that junglers will be prepared to gank. They'll do their first 3 camps and finish at about the 3 to 3:30 mark. So they'll be able to do their gank in or around 3 minutes. So as long as they get a ward into whatever area they need to prepare for at about the 3-ish minute mark, I think these top laners should be fine. Cinderheat is headed top lane. Both junglers heading top lane. Okay, so but they're trying to do a rinse and repeat of last game, but this time both junglers are here. Cinderheat and the Sejuani doing quite a bit of damage. Knock-up, flashing away, coming out Cinderheat, but now Beethoven's in a little bit of trouble. Counter-Strike does land on to the Cho'Gath and leap strikes his way out of there. So we're not going to have a rinse and repeat of the previous game.
It was very close though. A flash was popped from Warwick, so there was some benefit coming out of it. You know, for Silver Scrapes, they did manage to burn that flash pretty early. So when Warwick comes in for another gank, he's without that flash, and that could be a problem if he's not careful.
Yeah, definitely.
Good old Finman, I do actually need to point this out, Etos. He's actually pointed out, or he said in the chat, that I
hate to interrupt you, but Leona might be in a little bit of trouble here. Forced away, and the cow is now making her retreat so difficult. She's almost dead. One more heal, flash and heal being burnt out of the bot lane of Edith. So I hate to interrupt you there, man, but those are 2 big summoners being burnt already.
That is. Oh, really? 2 sub? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, heal and flash.
And a heal. Wow. Really putting tough spot right now. I've seen a lot of games where, you know, Zaya and Rakan or Zaya with another support always being forced, you know, into the defensive position, usually on the turret. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because as we can see, she pushed all the, like, you know, Miss Fortune pushed all the way up to their turret, but they had the same amount of minions. Whereas Zaya had an uncontested time, like she had a small time of uncontested farm. Like she could have like taken, you know, all 5 of those minions if she wanted to. But, you know, unfortunately this early in the game, it's hard to be able to get that, you know, that secured wave clear. But as I was going to say before, Squiddle Finman, or should I say Squiddle Finman, I don't know how to say your name, that is just how I'm reading it. He actually pointed out that another purpose of the minion dematerializer is that it's very good for super minions late game.
Warwick, I hate to interrupt you once again. They do not want you to talk. Both junglers are here. It's a bit of a party. Alistair doing what he can on the front line, but Boris is in a lot of trouble, and he's going to go down first blood to the cow of all things. Cinderhead may try and get himself out of there, but I don't think he's going to go away. Flash coming in from Night Ninja, and he will pick himself up a kill. These junglers are matching themselves step for step, but Edith's jungler is just not able to get as much done.
I like how there is a lot of action happening. They are mirroring each other almost perfectly. They both go top together, they both go bottom. The only thing missing is matching skins. But then again, I'm happy to see the Warwick skin. That is the Earth Warwick right there. That is the only skin that came out for a very limited time that you needed 150,000 blue essence to be able to buy. I missed my window of opportunity, but that skin looks so good, especially with that golden glove right there.
It looks amazing. So so back onto your point. Hopefully we won't get interrupted this time on the point of the minion dematerializer.
Yeah, so apparently it is actually, there's a possibility, or should I say an alternative, that as we come into a pause, obviously they're giving me that time to talk now, but another possibility behind it is that it also helps with taking down the super minions if they get put into like a sticky situation like they were last time, as well as the you know, the super banner minions on top of as well. So it could be good to try and, you know, minimize the casualty, or should I say the difference between the two.
Yeah, I don't deny that the minion dematerializer has its purposes, it has its advantages. It exists for a reason. It must be useful to a degree. But my issue was the fact that it wasn't it was used once in the previous game. I mean, it was about a 40-ish minute game, and 1 stack of minion dematerializer was used. So that's when I really start bringing up the question: is it actually worth running? Because if you're not using it, you know, because it wasn't used to get early lane pressure. It was the first usage, and the only usage was at 30 minutes. So
yes, which is interesting. After
31,
he
yeah,
finally
exactly.
decided to use the item.
I just really question taking it if you're gonna use it once in a 40-minute game.
I feel like we need to get Morgan Freeman in here to just retell that depressing story.
Can you
of the
imagine?
30
Can you
minute
imagine
tragedy.
Morgan Freeman as like a caster in any form of esport?
I
Can you
can
just
actually, but
imagine
I
how
feel like it'll
amazing
be
that would be?
historic. I feel like it would be like a historic rerun of some sort. The telling of Faker of some sort. Just like, you know, when Faker finally hits his end, it's just like, and as he takes the final walk of shame coming off of the LCS stage, you can see him crying. as
Oh
he's
no!
walking up the final
Don't make me have flashbacks to Worlds, man. That was heartbreaking.
I actually shed a couple tears too. Like
You
I
gotta
really
feel
felt
for the man.
I did actually feel for him. Like even right now, I'm shedding a tear. Like at that moment, that actually showed right there that even the best of the best can cry. If the best of the best can still cry in moments like that, then you know that they are true, that they are not fake. Like
Yeah.
there's some people that have come to pass in the history of League of Legends.
Indeed, but
I love that someone actually made like a little illustration of it too. All the middle lane champions he mastered over his entire career, just standing behind him as he's sitting down and, like, you know, hunched over in his chair with his face buried into his hands.
oh no, I'm happy I haven't seen that because that would just be heart wrenching, man. I mean,
Oh, it is. The illustration on top of it as well, or should I say, it says legends never die.
Oh. Well played, whoever made that. So
It
hopefully
was
we'll have
completely good. I gotta say,
Yeah.
perfect illustration. Nothing will beat it, in my opinion. Nothing will beat it.
Indeed. So we are hopefully waiting. I believe it was Lobby, the Cho'Gath top lane up for Silver Scrapes, is having some internet issues. So hopefully he does reconnect back soon. But, you know, while we have got a bit of a lull in the game, As much as I would love to talk about just any and all things that come to mind, I think we should probably be a bit focused on the matchups. And the biggest thing I want to look at is this top lane. So while we wait for the top laner to return, so there's Jax into the Cho'Gath. Now, who do you think, when we come to the later stages of the game, do you think that Jax is going to try a sort of split push against the Cho'Gath, or is it just not going to be worthwhile to even attempt?
I feel like it's not even going to be worthwhile to attempt. Like, Jax can be really good as a split pusher, but Cho'Gath's overall kit, how he just gets tankier as the game progresses, especially with his the rune system. Like, if he's got overgrowth, as well as, like, if he puts his ulti to proper use, where he just gets endless stacks of he just endlessly stacks his ulti, where he just gets more and more health, with each progressive kill that he gets on champions using his ulti alone. I feel like it's going to put the enemy team in a very tough position that even Vayne would be like, oh, god damn, I'm handling the situation. We end this game now, or I AFK and go down to the pub.
Yeah, you see the Cho'Gath with the Righteous Glory, the Gargoyle Stone Plant. You just think to yourself, I did not sign up for this. This is not okay.
I am not getting paid enough for this. But
You're not getting paid at all, I'm afraid.
No.
Something interesting also.
He's in love.
Something interesting also is oh my god, I'm going to pronounce that. I'm just going to call him Scrape, the Morgana for this game. Has once again gone for the Sapphire Crystal start. So neglecting that Doran's Ring, which is the standard for mid laners. So you'd assume that he would get punished for that, but it doesn't look like Flynia, I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, has really been aggressive on the Sejuani right now. So he's kind of getting away with a kind of greedy opening.
Fly versus. Oh yeah, I can understand that completely. And as you said, neglecting the ring for Sapphire Crystal. It doesn't look like she's really doing. It doesn't really look like it's hindering her almost at all. Really, like, she's ahead in farm. That's a staggering 13 CS lead right there. At this early in the matchup, that's just going to spell disaster. She already has a 300 CS lead. Sorry, a 300 gold lead.
300 CS lead. Whoa.
Somebody has managed to master this game better than the pros over in the international.
If you can get 300 CS at 5 minutes, hats off to you.
But at the same time, get out of the game.
We don't
need hackers. We don't need hackers in this game. We have enough salt. We have enough flame. We are already considered the Dead Sea of League of Legends. Don't contribute to that. Blitzcrank
already exists. We don't need more. But it looks like, I'm afraid, Angry, you will not be able to leave us. The game has resumed, so stay where you are, my friend, as the game is now resuming. And it looks like, despite the huge break, no one's really antsy for a fight.
No, it's quite the passive matchup at the moment. We've seen 2 kills happen already, and I feel like Edith are not willing to risk another attempt. It could probably put them behind. It could possibly create that gap that would just increase.
Ooh, Edith getting engaged on once again, but Alistair not able to commit hugely for it. I like the attempt, and now Xayah with no mana is really going to be struggling to fight this lane, and lane control over to Silver Scrapes.
I only see one major difference at the moment, and as I speak, actually, the Mountain Dragon has been taken. The benefit of having a Warwick on your team as the jungler, especially a good Warwick, getting that Hydra getting that Tiamat to start with, as well as taking the Dragon this early in the game. He's not even level 6 yet, and he's already taken the Dragon.
Definitely, and that is a Mountain Dragon as well, so that's going to be super beneficial when it comes to the time of taking other objectives and looking to try and force down turrets. So that's honestly really, really beneficial for the side of flying. If you don't die to Raptors, please don't die to Raptors. We've had enough players die to Raptors. Oh my lord!
Hats off to you, Sejuani, for dying to Raptors.
At least they didn't burn Flash. I've seen so many junglers burn their Flash at the last possible second and still die, and it's just like, oh my lord.
I wouldn't be surprised. It is the oh crap button.
This is the oh crap button, indeed.
Exactly.
Look down the items, double tiers for the mid laners. So, but the last chapter, I believe. No, the lost chapter is has been picked up. Oh my lord, another fight once again in this bot lane, but level 6 to level 5, the ball time is coming across. Lovely stun healed coming out as well from Xayah, does keep her alive.
That was a very powerful engage right there. The fact that they both hit level 6 and acted upon it immediately.
And that's
They were
really what
so
you need to
quick
do.
on it. They were like a camel to water. They were like desert to water. Just straight
And that's
off,
what you need
straight
to
off
do
the
with a
bat.
level advantage, though. Like, when you get a level advantage, you need to take advantage of it. And
Especially when you unlock that extra ability, because it just adds extra to your kit. And it's just like, oh, you have 3 abilities? Well, we have, so come at us.
yeah, exactly. And that's I like the it didn't come anything of it. Like they weren't able to get any huge beneficial result of it. But I really like the idea. So
The
looked
attempt,
down
the
the-
attempt was worth
yeah.
it. The attempt
definitely.
is what the gold stars went to.
yeah, exactly. They burnt the heal coming out of the Xayah once again, and all they really had to do was they didn't burn any summoners. They burnt their ultimate cooldowns, and that's honestly not that huge because they can get that back relatively easily. So it's really good trade, honestly, in that top
Oh!
lane. Ooh, oh my lord! Oh no! You can't afford to miss that suppress coming in. So, wasn't able to get his ultimate off, but that. Why would you keep your flash in that scenario, Beethoven, trying to be aggressive up top lane? We got fighting left, right, and center down in the bot lane now, but I don't know how much they're going to come of this. Bullet time is not available, so they're simply forced away, but MBK dies of ulti, and he dies of flash. That was just greedy not to burn flash. When Morgana flashes on you, you flash away to live.
I'm liking this. I'm liking what I'm seeing in regards to this
Beethoven.
misfortune.
So I get whenever someone starts trading, I just get way too excited.
That's all part of the. That's
just
all
get
part
blood
of
in
the
the eyes.
play-by-play. That's all. The bloodlust comes alive. The
Bloodlust coming
active
alive, and actually
is
Cinder
ready.
might be lovely flash coming over, locks up the. Oh no, this misfortune doesn't get to do anything in this fight. Exhaust is down. She's gonna pop. That was an unnecessary ultimate Xayah, trying to prove a point, but the 80 carry does indeed fall at the level 7 BM. Meanwhile, Cho'Gath is in a lot of trouble. I don't think that he's gonna live through this. Jax can honestly just die. This lovely flash over the rupture and does pick himself up the solo kill. Meanwhile, MBK has roamed his way down bot side, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get anything out of it at the end of the day.
No, and what's more taxing at the moment is that Zillion is bottom lane, while Morgana is easily uncontested in the mid lane. She is collecting free farm, free XP, free gold, and is making a push towards the turret. Edith are coming back on this already. They are already making a comeback. And what's going to be more disastrous is Warwick's ulti is now back online. It is off its cooldown. So that's going to be very interesting when that comes off once more.
The Duress, we'll have to see who gets locked up once again. So what I do have to bring up a couple questions is I worry for the top lane now. We were talking, and you did mention the idea that Jax shouldn't be able to split push into the Cho'Gath. My fear is that when Jax does get himself the Trinity Force, which is obviously a huge damage spike for him, Cho'Gath will have the Righteous Glory and then maybe Ninja Tabby. That's
Getting
it.
that righteous glory this early in the game is a little bit taxing. You lose some stats that would be that you wouldn't be sacrificing if you got something like a Rod of Ages or that. Just getting the righteous glory. I feel like it's a bit of a waste of a first item, especially
Ooh.
this early in the game.
Double control ward in that river brush as the Rift Herald will be taken down and secured. And now, unfortunately, Cho'Gath, you have made a few horrible decisions. The Chrono Shift being used, and actually, Sindel does eventually fold Jackson a 1v2 Beethoven, trying to get vengeance for his jungler, and I think honestly he will be able to leap strike in. Meanwhile, the Sejuani has attempted a bot lane gank, but was thwarted. Now, Lobby, oh, you are a poor little dead Cho'Gath, unfortunately. Jurassic Park, this is just like the movie all over again, and the T-Rex will fall. Goodbye.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
That's never not gonna make me laugh.
I'm happy it'll always make you laugh.
Vino,
'cause
what are
it
you
gives- it
doing
makes
here? You've
me
got
happy to
no
do it.
support. Your mid lane is not in lane, and you are trying to steal a buff. You're gonna get locked up. Oh, it manages to dodge that, but Ignite coming down as well as the tormented soil. Throws
I
them
want a
to prison
soundboard for these
point
moments.
blank.
I just want a soundboard so we can just like make all these pretty sounds like gotcha bitch. Just I don't know, it's just like he dashes.
Oh
over,
wow,
he thinks he's
Featherstorm
gonna
coming
get
out does
away.
not get the kill, and then now MPK is teleported. These teams are being hyper aggressive, considering the fact that if Silver Scrapes lose this, it's Goodnight Princess for them.
That was very interesting. A very questionable invade by Sejuani right there. Just going straight after the blue with no vision or anything of the sort. And bottom lane is completely active right down there. They're completely present. It's just like, what are you doing?
I don't know. Looks like they're going for a bit of a collapse though. 2 versus 3, and there is a teleport available for Beethoven. Uh-oh, Ninja gets caught, and Ninja is already a dead man. Goodbye, my friend. There's no point for you. Exhaust is down, and the team has collapsed on top of him. And Alistair, you are being turned into a patty as well. And meanwhile, Jax is on the backside. He teleported in, and this is the horrible MBK. He pops his chrono shift, but I do not believe that's that looks pretty, but goodbye.
That's 3 kills for them right there. 3 easy kills.
My color caster has become a soundboard. Lovely. This is gonna be a great cast, ladies and gentlemen. It's a human and a half with like basically Stephen Hawking's on the mic, and but this is 2 mountain dragons secured on the side of Edith, and there is at least 1 turret down.
Hey, they're making pushes right now. They're capitalizing. They danced around the dragon pit. They got 3 kills out of that, as well as a turret, and they are just making pushes. They are already 3,000 gold in front, and that gap is slowly closing in, but it's going to start increasing.
Edith have got the momentum.
Pretty late.
Edith have got the momentum, and this is really, really good for them. They've got Rift Herald available to them, so they can knock down the bot or the top 2 turret at their leisure at this point. Jax has completed his Trinity Force, and Louis has not been able to finish anything. He's picked himself up.
He's hybrid building pretty soon
He's
in the
got
game.
Merc Trades, and he's building towards something else. I don't know. I can't tell if he's building towards a catalyst of some variation, but honestly, you need to get armor against a Trinity Force Jax. This is going to hurt, and unless you've got help, Cho'Gath, you are in a lot of trouble. You haven't got the damage to stop a Jax, and you haven't got the push to stop a Jax. And with Triforce, yeah, this is, as someone who's got level 7 Mastery Jax, this is about how Trinity Force Jax goes. You don't fight him unless you've got a Triforce of your own.
No, you're essentially Homer Simpson with Cowan and
It's
Deakin.
a 2v1 though. Linia is here. Jax, is he going to try and take this fight? It looks like he is. Lovely Counter-Strike onto 2. Grandmaster's Challenge has finally been used, but actually it's not going to be enough. He gets chomped down. The Cho'Gath not able to pick up the stack, but Triforce is good. A jungler is better.
The CC between both of them right there was just too much to overpower Jax right there. Just Jax couldn't hold himself against those just yet. I feel like when he gets another item or 2, he'll be able to take them both on comfortably.
The Rift Herald is on Jax, and he's dead. He didn't get to use Rift Herald. Meanwhile, Infinite Duress does unfortunately whiff, so really good to deny the Rift Herald there. And Morgana looks like she's preparing for a dive onto Lobby, so he might be in a little bit of trouble in a couple seconds. We'll have to see, but really good work from Silver Scripts to deny the Rift Herald usage.
The very interesting turn of events. I did not expect them to take down the Rift Herald, actually deny the Rift Herald from being crushed so soon. I expected, Jax to be able to unleash it and just let it push the top lane on its own. Cho'Gath will play against it, but he'll be distracted with the Rift Herald while Jax just runs around elsewhere. But even still, it's not holding him back from doing it right now. There's a 3-man mid lane situation happening here.
Indeed. I mean, while in the bot lane, Alistair goes in once again, but they're simply not in position. Bullet time not readily channeled because Solar Flare is available to counter if they do try it. Meanwhile, MBK is forced away out of that mid lane. It's a 3-man push because there's no turret to keep him safe. Alistair is walking way too far forward. Storm coming out along with the bullet time. No one dies. Solar Flare coming out, trying to keep his AD carry. Oh, lovely hit coming out of the play call, but he misses an auto. He's auto taking minions, and the double cone coming in with the misfortune. That shouldn't be happening. Meanwhile, it looks like a bit of a dive. Beethoven diving in, but Xayah auto attacked 2 minions instead of targeting the misfortune and securing the kill.
That was a very tight situation. Very, very anxious there. I'm surprised Xayah fell to that. I'm surprised she fell in that fight. I thought she was going to get misfortune.
I mean,
I thought she was going to continue to Alistair, but no.
She misclicked. She just straight misclicked the wrong champion to attack.
Oh, that just sheds its
Oh my lord,
eye.
Beethoven wants this fight and actually avoids the rupture, but with no flash available, he has forced the flash out of the Cho'Gath and jumps onto his own ward, but I don't think he can risk chasing this down with... Oh my lord, what is going on? MBK forced the flash away, flash coming in from the Hawk, and the chrono shift is used once again, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get himself out of there alive. Oh, lovely use of the blast plant. He's surely going to fall. Beethoven coming in from the side, and MBK trying to run how he can, but Soul Shackled is enough to pick up the kill. Lobby is running for his life, and lovely Glacial Prison will stop Beethoven in his tracks. But this is a really good momentum for Edith. Silver Scrapes, they're bleeding out and they need help. Oh, Sin's ahead, getting caught out of position. I don't know why he decided to stay, but I think it may be his death. Actually, no, the Black Shield keeping him alive. Oh no, was not able to save him from that, however, and he will eventually fall.
That is one hell of a fight, right? I have to. That was very tough between both sides. Very close. And just in the end, just Silver Scrapes managed to come out on top. Just because of the sheer numbers of people. Just because of the sheer numbers right there. And the CC that's happening from Sejuani. Sejuani's CC kit is coming alive. Finish it off. There we go.
There we go. It finished him. Night Fox might be in a little bit of trouble. Actually, no, I say that. The Solar Flare coming out does get the stun, but this Leona is a dead woman. Goodbye. That is an easy kill for the AD carry of Silver Scrapes, and overcommittal to try and get the turret. And oh my lord, look at that Baron minion. Look at that Baron Command minion. Look at that thing
Banner
swing.
of Command. Why? It is such a popular item in this game. Just Banner is loving.
Oh, it's
Banner
because of the
Command.
change to Banner in 8.4. I don't think it was a change to Banner, it was a change to minions to do proper damage, which means it is simply that much more effective. Uh-oh, Beethoven has his eyes set on Little Miss AD carry, and
He needs a real weapon. He needs a real weapon for this.
I don't think he needs a real weapon. He's got himself a piece of wood, and that is more than enough to pick up the kill. No, Warwick comes in and takes the kill away. It's a 2 versus 3, and they're trying to run away. The fear coming in. It looks like the Alistar is doing what he can, but Zaya will eventually take him down. They let the Sejuani live, but I feel like this is only a matter of time. Oh, that is bullying. A 4-man down bot side. Loopy does pick up the top lane because Beethoven teleported, but
It was overkill.
it's a dragon.
It was overkill, but according to Alistair, he herded them. And that's a very powerful trait to have, especially in League of Legends. If you can herd the enemy team, you can make something of it. If you can herd the entire enemy team as a distraction, your team can do well acting upon it. But in this case, he only did it to make sure that they only got 1 kill instead of 2. You know, he only let them kill him instead of him and Sejuani.
And you'd have to say worth to that as a good teammate, being the sacrificial cow when his team needed him. A look down the items. Whoa, MBK running for his life and manages to hit high gear, dodging that solar flare.
Just pushing himself forward.
Oh no!
increasing
Well, guys,
time.
you shouldn't be here. Even with the black shield, I don't think you're going to be able to get your way out of there. Soul Shackles is available, but you haven't got an hourglass. You will fall to MBK, who picks himself up the second of the game.
I'll be sure to lay a flower for you, Morgana.
Uh-oh. There's Mortis fighting left, right, and center. Glacial Prison is available, but it doesn't look like they're using it just yet, so they will lock it up. MBK, mid-fight, using his time in the bottle, showing the old man doesn't give a damn, but 20 minutes, they went for an early Baron in the previous game. They have a Banner of Command. Do you think they're going to try and force it?
It looks like they might be forcing another Baron here at the moment. They've got that pink water Baron pit.
I like the idea of double
gonna
coming
do?
over.
Oh,
I like the idea, but it is so risky. Beethoven trying to force onto MBK, and the whole team peels off Baron to try and get a pick, but it doesn't work, and now they're forced to back away because Edith know what's going on. They're prepared for it, and there's always the chance of a smite steal with that Warwick. Oh, lovely. The Featherstorm being burnt so early on. Zaya losing that protection that she really loves to have. Oh my god, he goes in and picks up the kill on Ninja. I don't know what he was doing on the front line. Meanwhile, Beethoven really wants that Zealing. He wants that old man. Oh no, the jungle has been suppressed. Lovely solar flare. That is going to shred Silver Scrapes apart. 1 falling down, 2's going to fall down. And no, Luby picks himself up. A revenge kill, takes a jump at the fallen angel. And actually, is he going to pick himself a second kill? This should not be happening. There we go. The Blade Caller to return the daggers, and Jax picks himself up some beef patties, and that's actually an ace.
that is another ace. That is the second time they have managed to ace Silver Scrapes like that. And it's just going to put them, you know, further behind at the moment. They are making pushes now.
I mean, this is an inhibitor turret.
Yeah, that's going to be another turret. Misfortune will contest, but
Like, bullet time's available for Beethoven, and Beethoven's gonna die to this because he decided to overstay. That was greedy. Meanwhile, Ninja Fox in a little bit of trouble in a 1 versus 2, but his jungler is here. Oh, he manages to keep him alive. Flash coming in with how he really wants to. Oh no! Lovely Glacial Prison coming out says you do not get to touch my AD carry. And now they're gonna kill the support as well. This Leona is already dead, and goodbye. Lovely turnaround from Silver Scrapes, punishing Edith for being over aggressive.
Oh, I felt like I just got blue balls watching that moment. That Warwick right there, just he was so close. And then Sejuani with the Glacial Prison, just yes. Oh!
That's so annoying. Ninja Fox lived with the slimmest of health bars, but does manage to get away alive and pulls in Edith to a honestly really bad fight. Now, with 2 dead, they may be able to get some turrets off of this, and maybe even try Force Baron as they've been doing, you know, all series.
I gotta tip my hat off to Fly right now. His gameplay as Sejuani is proving to be very powerful. The entire kit, the CC that he is offering with that kit is just proving to be very good. Whether it is proactive or reactive. Proactive when he was top lane to kill Jax when the 2v1 situation. Reactive situation to save Misfortune and turn into a proactive situation. It's just a top.
Warwick might be a little bit caught out of position. He's on his own, and he's surely going to fall down. This is a 1 versus 5, and the big bad wolf is indeed forced down.
I guess he huffed and he puffed, and at the end of the day, he just.
He was blown down.
Yeah, he ended up being blown down instead.
But Jax is on the split push up on this top side. He will get this turret, and as much as I want you to take this fight, Jax, you are going to get outnumbered. You're in a 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3 even. No, it's going to be a 4-man Jax. Have you got the blue suede shoes, and are they made for dancing? The counter-strike is available, but he gets knocked up twice over, 3 times over. Whoa, he was a bloody pinball there. That is surely going to be Baron because that was bullying.
That is definitely an uncontestable Baron right there. Warwick is charging out from the base. Just look at him dash like he's dashing like friggin' Far Lap in the middle of a racetrack. You've got.
Oh no! It was a bait, Morgana. What are you doing? Goodbye, Princess. She has fallen once again. We assumed it was Baron. It was not yet. That is now 2 members down on the side of Edith, and there's always the contention for a Baron. We can never forget that. Oh no, Luffy! They're jumping over the wall. It is a party one after the other. They yell, "Give me another!" And this Leona is gonna fall. Desire doing what she can to keep her alive, but the exhaust comes down. Oh no, the suppression coming out. That's 1 coming in, 2 coming in. The chrono break was not, the chrono shift, I apologize, was not used by MBK there at all. Lovely pickup from Cinder, and that's gonna force them away from Baron.
Wait, look down in the
Wait,
blue.
Jax.
Beethoven, Jax is just teleported towards the middle turret.
He's gonna get this. He's gonna die for this. But
no, he's not gonna die.
No, he's gonna die for this. There's no way he's getting out of this alive.
Oh yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, he's knocked up. He's gonna get eaten up. Oh no way! No way! He actually gets out of there with the flash. That was really, really well done from Beethoven.
If we could have a play of the game, that would be it. That would be play of the game right there.
I mean, I wouldn't name it play of the game. It was damn good.
It was just good.
As someone who's okay, the issue is I see something like that and I think to myself, like, it's not the hardest play mechanically because you just flash. Oh no! Oh Benno, what are you doing? The Unbreakable's not going to save you. Actually, it might. The rest of his team has finally arrived and bullet time is available. I don't know, chat, what is going on. It is an absolute party, and as a play-by-play caster, I damn love it.
What's going on now is that it is a fiesta of clowns. It is not beyond a fiesta of clowns, it is the clowns.
Oh, here we go. Lobby getting engaged on once again. He has no gargoyles to be caught of, so he may be in quite a bit of trouble. He has a Tiamat for some reason. I don't know why he has that, but he may get away. Oh, lovely bullet time shredding out across the Executioner's Calling, doing its job, keeping Morgana out of the fight. So they may indeed get out of there alive. Glacial Prison is available. Flash coming out as well from the Morgana keeps him alive. The Leona will eventually fall. Playcaller is dodged out of the Glacial Prison, but I don't think she's going to be able to get out there alive. No, lovely Dark Finding does keep the bird alive, but my lord, this is a mess. This is a bloodbath. I love it.
It's a bloodbath galore right there. Just if they kept, it would have been a really bad decision. Just I can just see from the amount of remaining health that each member on Silver Scrapes have, as well as the capabilities to be able to pick off players from as the team that Edith offer. It's just Edith would be able to turn this around, get an uncontested Baron at that point. But I'm really happy to see that Silver are trying to keep themselves.
Oh my lord! Cinderhead just wants blood. This is the third or fourth time he's gone for that ulti and completely whiffed it, but he may be able to chop this Cho'Gath down to size. He does have flash available, and there we go. Takes a bite out of the monster of the void, but Cinderhead man, you need to hit those infinite terresses.
Absolutely, and I'm curious to see what his second item build, his second rune step would be. Whether it is down in the sorcery or the domination tree. If it's the domination tree, it would make a lot of sense.
Looks like it's Baron time once again for Edith, and there is no vision. And with 3 mountain dragons that we haven't really called attention to, it is already gone. Alistair, you tried to get vision for your team, and even with the unstoppable will, you will be stopped. You will be slain, surely to God. There's no getting out of this. There we go. The bird kills the cow once again.
That was quite an interesting turn of events right there. I thought the game was longer, but no, they just completely turned it around. They now have a free. That was completely uncontested, I would say, almost.
Yeah, there was no because people were down, and it's 30 minutes, and they have 3 mountain dragons. Like, they are in such a dominating position. Look at this, Sejuani can't stop them. She's literally brute forcing them out of the way, and it's not working. Soul Shackles lands on 2, and it only locks up no one, actually. Skycake running for his life, finally trying to get onto the backline, but get absolutely shredded and taken out. 2 more locked out with the Blade Claw. There we go, Warwick from the sideline, chomping down, and he gets himself 1 MBK, not using that chrono break, chrono shift once again. The Warwick does eventually fall. The big bad wolf is not allowed to play today, but 2 members down on the side of Silver Scrapes, so only the jungler falling for Edith. They can keep pushing with this Baron.
Oh, they could do more than that. You've got a split pusher coming from Jackson, the bottom lane. He's taking that first. He's taking the second turret.
Oh my lord, this is just going to be the base falling apart for Silver Scrapes. They're calling a doctor saying help please, but no one is coming to save them. Jax pushing down to that bot lane with that Hydra build is an absolute nightmare to stop.
I feel like it's just an absolute nightmare to stop both Warwick and Jax. They're very close in item.
He's got a Trinity Force.
I know, they both have Trinity.
I just noticed this Warwick's build. He's got a Cutlass. Oh, good, Beethoven. He gets himself the turret. I think he may eventually fall, jumps away onto the minion. Counter-Strike comes available. And actually, he may get out of there alive. We can't see, unfortunately, Cho'Gath is chasing him down, but the Righteous Glory is unavailable, and Beethoven gets alive with the slimmest of health, by the way.
I feel like that movement speed is what literally
That one Cloud
his
Dragon.
ultimate demise right there.
The one Cloud Dragon. The dragon that as a caster I have bashed and bashed again is what kept him alive.
And I can just imagine you're also just freaking dragon,
So
that bloody Cloud Dragon.
if it's
Why
another
must
Cloud
you be
Dragon,
the bane of my existence right now.
I just don't like Cloud Dragon. But and look down the items which we haven't done. Lobby is going for a Titanic Hydra. Now I don't like that. Just get a Gargoyles as Cho'Gath. You need it at this point. Jax has got 3 items. He's got himself the standard 2, and then with the Sterix Gauge. What I want to point out is the Warwick build is amazing.
I know.
Blood
I'm loving it. He's got
Blood
a
Razor,
large amount of
Triforce,
speed.
Blade of the Rune King with some form of Hydra and Swifties. Like, I love that build.
The Trinity Force on its own is a lethal combo, just because it with his Q. His ferocious bite is what pretty much makes Sheen a very powerful item for war. Even though it's an ability-based item, it's still very effective.
Definitely. And now Edith, they can run a full 1-esque style split push. You put Jax in the bot lane, you put everyone else in the mid/red side jungle, and you just keep shoving the wave in. You go back to pick up the dragon in 30 seconds, or you kill someone when they decide to face check like that. Oh no, goodbye. Didn't even give it a chance to do this. Solar Flare coming out, but Silver Scrapes is already being shredded apart. The Cho'Gath doing what he can, but I don't think it's enough. He's speared away. The Xayah is just free hitting onto the back line, and Silver Scrapes is being torn apart. 2 men in the front line, but the tanks can't do anything. Surely to God, no, they're gonna fall. 1 falls down, 2 falls down. The back line not even alive with the tank of Sejuani and the Zillion running for their lives. Oh, what? Beethoven comes in from the back. No one saw that one coming. That's why he's the backdoor boy. But that is surely going to be game, and a 2-0 for Edith over Silver Scrape. MBK running for his life, but that is going to be the grand finals falling, and Edith Cowan, I know I pronounced that incorrectly, I apologize. Backdoor boys, congratulations on the 2-0 series.
Just realizing that their actual name is Backdoor Boys, I feel like Jax or Beethoven.
Yeah, it's a Jax, you got a backdoor.
Absolutely.
The
And with
backdoor
that-
boy. Thank you, Jack, in the chat. That was amazing.
I love it. I love it. Just the entire content here tonight.
Tonight's been great. I've loved it.
Absolutely. And with that, everybody, that is the... Congratulations to Backdoor Boys.